What's up, War YouTube? I got y'all with another video. We got jxmyhighroller. They're breaking the NBA again. I haven't seen jxmyhighroller in a minute, and he's probably one of the best basketball content YouTubers in the league. Not in the league, but like in the game. But he be cooking like there. He be like doing research of all these buckets and everything like that. He be even getting like research from the 50s, bro. Like, how do you even get research from that? Because that's all the way near to like 100 years ago, and he's still researching for doing that. Hey, shout out to jxmyhighroller, but make sure y'all like the video, make sure y'all subscribe, make sure y'all turn the notice on. Let's get to the video, y'all. Shit. And this quality off as fuck.
Three-pointers have taken over the NBA. The shot transformed from a gimmick so underutilized that the league had to move the three-point line closer to the hoop just to incentivize teams to take more, to a shot that now determines the outcome of many games.
Hold on. I don't know much shit now.
But after an entire... Over the last decade...
Oh yeah, we got some technical difficulties real quick. I don't know why this thing's acting up.
Over the last decade, three-pointers have taken over the NBA. The shot transformed from a gimmick so underutilized that the league had to move the three-point line closer to the hoop just to incentivize teams to take more, to a shot that now determines the outcome of many games. But after an entire era of seemingly exponential growth, recently the barrage of three-pointers
Probably because of Curry.
appeared to stabilize. In fact, the league had...
Bro, y'all can debate with me till the day I die, bro. Curry is probably the most unguardable person of all time. Like, once he gets hot, nobody is stopping him. Even not LeBron. Like, Curry, like he's literally like one of the best scorers of all time. He's the best 3-point shooter of all time, and then he can play maker too. He might not be like Kyrie, but he can at least got elite ball handling. Pause, but dude. He's probably the best offensive player of all time, bro. Like, if you wanted like a best offensive player on your team, you got Steph Curry, bro, and he's the best point guard of all time. I'm sorry, old heads, but he is.
Had become so saturated with
Chef, look at Curry, man. All right, that was corny, but shout out to Flight Reacts.
threes that the scales had flipped and two-pointers became slightly more valuable. Only accepted some teams with the majority of all of their shots being taken from beyond the arc. A new generation of stars, more trigger happy.
But this is Victor Wembanyama. He's probably gonna be like a top 3 to 2 best offensive center of all time. Mark my words, because he literally just dropped 50 the other day like it was nothing, even though it was against Washington or like a trash team. But that's still something though. He's like 20 years old and he's still dropping these numbers. Like, that is crazy. And this dude is 7'5", bro, with shoes on. Bro, he's about to do some crazy shit, bro.
Happy from three than the players that came before them, and games that feel like one long three-point contest. Is the NBA on a path to being a league featuring
And Damian Lillard is better than Kyrie Irving of all time, bro. I don't care what people say.
exclusively long balls, layups, and nothing else? Well, in 2015, right about the time the league began to shift away from the basket, Steph Curry attempted 8 three-pointers per game, the highest total in the league that season, and just the 5th player in NBA history to attempt at least 8 threes a game. By the next season, 3 other players joined him as ultra-high-volume three-point shooters. But by 2020, the number of players across the league attempting at least 8 threes a game jumped to 15. The three-point revolution was long in effect by this point, and it would remain at this level for the next few seasons. The league seemingly finding its equal.
If it wasn't for Curry, we would still be playing like before Curry, like the 2010s of like basketball, like the San Antonio Spurs and Miami Heat. Like, they would be like they would still be taking twos, but there would have been some 3-point shooters. But if Curry did not exist, this whole basketball style, it would have been different.
Equilibrium on threes and how many are even worth taking. Until this season, where there are 24 players in the NBA who are attempting what was once considered a historic amount of threes just a decade ago. Something is changing in the NBA right now. Are we nearing the end of the three-point era, or are we just getting started?
Just getting started. Even though it started like 10 years ago, but
today's video is brought to
everybody want to take threes now.
you by SeatGeek with the download. Warriors their offense around the three ball proved that it can be a championship-winning strategy. And they weren't just a three-point oriented team, they were the three-point team. They bucked age-old notions of what great basketball could look like.
The 16 and 17 Warriors will beat the MJ Chicago Bulls from '96, even though Michael Jordan is a GOAT, but nobody is stopping Curry. I mean, Michael Jordan is locking down Klay Thompson and KD. Scottie Pippen's not locking down KD. Then not Pippen, but Rodman and Draymond Green, that might be close. And then you got Zaza Pachulia and then Chicago Center. I don't even know who. I mean, I know Zaza, but I don't remember the Chicago Center. But I got the Warriors in 6. I can't even speak right now.
Their star duo, named after their shooting abilities, the most influential team of our generation. That season, the Warriors shot 31.6 three-pointers per game, the second most of any team in league history and by far the most of any true championship caliber team. This season, every single team in the NBA attempts more threes a game than the 2016 Warriors did. Their influence reshaping the league far more than anyone could have.
Bro, the Celtics, they average 51 attempted three-pointers, bro. God damn.
Anticipated. But teams aren't just shooting more threes than ever before. They are approaching the point where the majority of all shots taken in a game are three-pointers. Here's a game between the Hornets and the Celtics, and with 10:36 left in the third quarter, Jason Tatum attempts a three. The Hornets come back and attempt a three as well. Celtics turn it over, Hornets attempt a three. Celtics come down and attempt another three. Hornets come down and attempt a three, followed by a Celtics three, followed by a Hornets three, followed by another three. Celtics switch it up for a moment with a layup, and then right back to a Hornets three. Turnover, Hornets 3, Celtics 3, Hornets 3, Celtics 3. This was a real sequence in an NBA game. This actually happened. A 4-minute stretch where both teams combined for nearly 14 consecutive three-point attempts if it wasn't for an easy layup at the rim. This is insane, and it's not even out of the ordinary this season. Here's another sequence between the Celtics and the Knicks. Now, this was already a blowout, so you never know what you're going to get in these situations. But how about a three ball followed up with a turnover, another three ball, and another three ball, and another three ball, another turnover, three ball, turnover, three ball. Oh look, there's a layup. And then back to another three ball, and a turnover, and a three ball, and take a wild guess, a three ball. 3 straight minutes of three-pointers. 8 from the Celtics alone, and they missed all 8. But even this was nothing compared to what happened in a game between the Hornets and the Hawks. With 1 minute and 45 seconds left in the first quarter, the Hornets made a mid-range jump shot. What's so special about this mid-range bucket? Well, nothing, other than the fact that this would be special about this mid-range bucket. Well, nothing, other than the
number 22 from the Hornets. Who was this dude, bro? Bro, you don't even show up, bro. That's crazy.
The fact that this would be the last shot they would make outside of layups and three-pointers for the rest of the entire game. For the next 37 minutes of game time, outside of free throws, every single point the Hornets scored until the end of the game was from right here or out here. In fact, throughout this entire game, the Hornets scored 120 points. Only 4 of them came from a shot that wasn't a three-pointer, a layup, or a free throw. Has the complex, rich, and diverse game that we love truly been reduced to this? It certainly feels that way at times. Through 100 games so far this season, a whopping 42% of all field goal attempts have been from beyond the three-point line, a total that has nearly doubled.
Time to make the four-point line Adam Silver.
Since 2012. Sometimes it feels like we're watching one big three-point contest, because at times, we are. In fact, at the current rate the league is going, which may or may not continue, half of all shots taken in an NBA game will be three-pointers by the 2032 season. But it's not just that teams are attempting more three-pointers. Teams have regressed to taking only the best, most efficient shots on the court. Three-pointers, layups when they're available, and hardly anything in between. Excluding free throws, 86% of all points scored from NBA teams this season have been from beyond the three-point line or within 6 feet.
So he's basically saying that the mid-range is dead, basically, because I mean, I really don't see that mid-range stuff anymore, like from this season or maybe from last season. But the threes and the layups are probably going to be like the most effective, like scoring out of like the whole offensive thing, and that's what it's going to come down to.
Of the basket. 20 years ago, only 65% of all points were scored from these zones. Now, this upward trend of near and far and nothing in between may not continue. Over the past few seasons, there has been some stagnation in three-point attempt rate, so there may be a shift in the other direction in the coming years. But the NBA tends to follow the leader. What are the winning teams doing, and how can we adapt, emulate, and optimize that style of play? And right now, as much as we can't stand it, winning basketball looks a lot like a three-point shootout. Before the beginning of this season, Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla said the team planned on shooting a lot more threes this year. They did the math, and it checked out. We need more threes. But outside of Harden's Rockets, last year's Celtics attempted more three-pointers than any other team in NBA history. It was a recipe that was so good, it helped them win a championship. How many more threes could they possibly shoot? 51. This year's Celtics are shooting 51 three-pointers per game. That is 56% of all of their field goal attempts. Arguably the best team in the league, coming off of a championship, is shooting 6 more three-pointers per game than any other team in league history. But are three-pointers and the sheer volume of them really a recipe for winning basketball? Is this truly the future of the game and what teams will need to do to compete? Well, so far this season, teams that win the three-point battle, when they score more net points from three-pointers than their opponent, have won 72% of the time. And this one metric has been more indicative to winning than just about any other. Last season, there was an 85.6% correlation between three-point percentage and winning percentage, the strongest correlation between the two variables in NBA history. Make more three-pointers, greatly increase your odds of winning the game. But that's pretty obvious. Of course, making more threes will better your odds. We have seen massive underdogs win games by pouring in three-pointers and hitting more than they probably should have. Will teams eventually reach the threshold of three-pointers that are worth taking in a game? Or is the shot just so valuable that we will inevitably see a league that finds no value in taking any shot outside of the long ball? There must be a sweet spot between shooting exclusively threes and no threes, where we will eventually see the limit of good, viable three-pointers. Oddly enough,
Halliburton has been playing shit this year, bro. I'm gonna call him Hallibooty. Like, this dude has been playing horrible. Like, I think the first game he dropped like maybe like 2 points, and he went for like 2 for 11. I don't remember. Like, he played bad.
the league may have already met that limit. As previously mentioned, three-pointers used to yield more points per shot than two-pointers for many years. Teams eventually figured this out and they capitalized on it. But this inadvertently led to two-pointers becoming more valuable. As teams focused their defensive efforts on stopping the three ball, they got spread thin, the rim opened wide up, offenses got rid of long mid-range jumpers, and for the first time in over 3 decades, two-pointers produced just as many points per shot as three-pointers. How do we know if or when teams are shooting too many threes? Well, intuitively, it would be at the point where three-pointers lose their statistical advantage over twos, which has already happened. The problem of too many threes has already statistically corrected itself. But despite this, the Celtics and many other teams are committed to shooting more threes than they previously did. They are aware of the data, and they still decided that upping their three-point rate is the answer. Steve Kerr has said that it would be hard for the Warriors to compete without shooting a high volume of threes. Mike Budenholzer said he thinks the sport is in a good place, and that threes create more space to be more athletic and dynamic going to the basket. Devin Booker, a player who utilizes and values the mid-range game as much as any player in the league, said the volume should be up. Attempting the three-point shot, not even making it, stretches out the defense and opens up better looks throughout the game. Teams know that the two-pointers today aren't as valuable as they are in spite of threes. Two-pointers today have become so valuable because of threes. As Devin Booker stated, even when they aren't going in, the spacing and ball movement that three-pointers provides to teams creates an incredible advantage compared to any other shot. In fact, it's no coincidence.
Even though Holmgren got like hurt like a couple days ago, bro, he might be like a top 10 to 15 player, maybe top 20 by like when like Curry, LeBron, and all of them leave. Because I could see it happening. Because I can see OKC winning the championship this year. Definitely within 5 years. But damn, my brain is lagging. All I'm praying to go out to Chet Holmgren, and I hope he recovers fast.
That points per shot on two-pointers began to climb rapidly at the same exact time as the three-point revolution. When you force teams to guard the three, you also force them to give up the two. This whole time, we've been watching these games thinking teams are shooting way too many threes. And all along, they weren't just shooting threes because they're worth more points. They've been shooting more threes to create more points in other areas. The direct benefits of volume three-pointers actually plateaued quite a while ago. Teams aren't yielding more points per shot on threes today than they did a decade ago. But the indirect benefits of volume threes continues to grow the more teams make and take them. Which means, in theory, the number of threes we're seeing teams take could continue to climb, despite the fact that they are already at the peak of their direct statistical advantage. But just how much further could this go? Well, this is where things get really interesting. If we ignore the caliber of teams and the efficiency of their shooting and just look purely at volume, then through over 150 games so far this season, teams have found by far the most success when they shoot somewhere between 46 and 52% of all of their shots from beyond the arc. This season, when teams put up a three-point attempt rate between 46 and 52%, they have won over 70% of the time. Meanwhile, teams that shoot at a rate outside of this hypothetical sweet spot have won just 48% of the time, which means despite as many three-pointers teams are shooting, statistically, they may still not be shooting enough. And it may only be a matter of time before teams use this information and slowly creep towards this rate of 50% of
No, I didn't mean to do that. Right here.
Creep towards this rate of 50% of all of their shots consisting of three-pointers. Last week, Nick Wright had a great monologue discussing the advantages of volume three-point shooting and how teams who can design an effective offense built around them have an incredible statistical advantage.
The league needs to change some rules. They have finally figured out it's not only that 3 is worth more than 2, it's that 3 is worth a lot more than 2. Because there is a 50% premium on three-point shots, the smart way to play is probably what the Celtics did on opening night. Shoot 60 of them things. That is the best strategy. That is also terrible television. And I love the league. I love it. But this is not sustainable. At its core, the NBA is at its best when dudes are flying over people, meeting them at the rim. Hanging out at the three-point line, hoisting 30-footers is
Bro, he literally jumped from the free throw line, and then he yanked that shit, bro.
not good TV. And you are going down a path where the games are less compelling television and the fans are worried, do the players even care? It's just a warning to a league I love. You are playing a dangerous, dangerous game.
If what the Warriors did in the mid-2010s broke the game of basketball, then teams today are eviscerating it. They have essentially cracked the code. Decades of experimenting with different schemes and offensive designs and player personnel through trial and error has led teams to the correct answer. Nothing beats a bunch of good looks at three. It may not be pretty. It may lack the nuance and diversity that we used to see in the league, but it has been proven to be the most effective method of winning basketball games. How much further can this possibly go? Well, fortunately, there seems to be an upper limit to the ideal volume of threes before the returns become diminished. That limit is probably about 50%. Unfortunately for us, the NBA is still nowhere near that limit.
Alright, I'm gonna just show y'all the Anthony Edwards real quick because I just said I'm gonna show y'all real quick. Edwards. Bro, this dude got dunked on so bad.
Did not score and only had one shot attempt in that first half. Another turnover for Utah. Edwards gets it back.
God damn, bro. That shit still give me hype. Like, even though it was like 7 months ago.
And only had one shot attempt in that first half. Another turnover for Utah.
Look where he's jumping at, bro.
Edwards gets it back.
God damn.
Threw it down. And one from the Raptors.
That was ridiculous.
His hand free.
This dude Anthony Edwards is
This
crazy,
is
bro,
15.
I appreciate y'all watching the video. Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all turn the notifications on. And make sure y'all share the video. And I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Love y'all.